What's going on, fight fans? It was Jesse Bam Rodriguez winning the IBO flyweight title by unanimous decision over Cristian Gonzalez. It was a pretty action-packed fight from beginning to end, in my opinion. There was really not any holding. Both men, I felt, were going at each other. They were keeping the fight. They were actually bringing the fight to each other, and it actually turned out to be a pretty exciting fight, which I thought it would be, and I'm assuming a lot of you would have thought it as well. Let me hit some pros and cons. Let me start with Bam Rodriguez. I like the fact that he was trying to cut off the ring. He was staying aggressive. He was trying to keep Gonzalez more in the corner so he can put his pressure on him. I like the fact that he did mix his punches up. And I thought he showed a decent amount of defense, still some things for the young man to work on. My cons for Bam would be, I didn't like the fact that when we got past the 6th round that he was still pressing for the knockout, that he was still, that he didn't, really stick to a game plan. And I felt like that he let the fans maybe get in his head, get in his ears, and he wanted to try to get the knockout for the fans instead of sticking to what he was doing best. And he ended up getting his jaw broke somewhere between the 6th and the 8th round. And I think even Jesse himself would say that it was due to the fact that he was maybe pressing too much, got caught with his mouth open instead of just staying calm and sticking with the game plan. As for Cristian Gonzalez, I heard some of the commentators saying that they thought that he could have did more, but I thought that he actually fought a pretty decent fight. He was trying to counterpunch. He was trying to use his height. He was trying to box, and he was doing everything he could to keep Bam off of him. He was moving. He wasn't giving him a sit still target to get knocked out. So I actually thought that those are all pros, and he did pretty good. As far as the cons, I can't really say that there are any cons for Gonzalez. I just think that he was outclassed, and it just wasn't anything that he could do with Rodriguez. Now, Gonzalez is a good fighter, but I just think that there was not really much more he can do other than survive. And by survive, I'm not saying that he was running and not fighting back. He was fighting back. He was trying to win the fight, but I think that he wanted to survive to get to the end and maybe think that gave him a chance to win the fight. As I mentioned earlier, from rounds 1 through 12, it was pretty action-packed. It was not a boring fight. It was a fight that kept your attention, but there was nowhere in the fight that I thought that Rodriguez was losing the fight or was going to lose the fight. I didn't see him getting knocked out. I didn't see him even losing by decision. I thought he was way ahead on the scorecards. The thing about Jesse is that he's young. If I'm not mistaken, he's 23. He still has some learning to do. He still has a little ways to go, and that's a beautiful thing. It's good that he still has room to learn, and I think he'll learn from this fight that he doesn't have to get hurt in order for him to get knockouts, that he can set up his punches and let the knockouts come to him. Well, let's get to the end of the fight. He didn't get to say much because of his broken jaw, and I appreciate that from Chris Mannix, not asking him to press on to keep talking. But let's talk about what's next, and it sounds like it's Sonny Edwards. He said he wants him. He said Sonny Edwards has been talking a lot, so he said he would like to get that fight going. And Eddie Hearn got in the ring, and it was short and sweet. He said, yes, Sonny Edwards, after Sonny takes his mandatory, that it will be him against Jesse Bam Rodriguez. The only bad part is that the fight is probably going to be a little bit away because he did break his jaw. Now, I'm not exactly sure how long he's going to need to recover, but instead of that fight being, let's say, maybe early or late summer, we may be talking later in the year so his jaw can fully heal, because I would think that it would take a few months, at least maybe 3 months, for your jaw to be back fully healed, and then maybe another month before he could even spar again. By that time, we're already late summer at that point. But I think we'll get that fight. Eddie Hearn is usually good to his word, and if he says that Sonny Edwards is next, then that's probably what's going to be next. All right, fight fans, what did you think about the fight? Who did you predict to win? Were you impressed with Bam Rodriguez, and what do you think he maybe could have done better in that fight to maybe got the knockout? Even though it's not a big deal that he didn't get it, he got the win. That's all that really matters. But give me your thoughts on it. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so we can keep talking boxing. Other than that, fight fans, that's all I got. I'll let y'all later.